Hey guys, it's Dale with the insurance. Today we're going to talk about a coverage that may not be used that often, right? You don't hear about it all the time. The article that discusses this particular coverage is called Musical Instrument Insurance Floaters, right? So when thinking about homeowners and renters coverage, you know that personal property is included. Most people overlook musical instruments, right? So they know personal property, kind of your clothing, your furniture, and then once they kind of start thinking about more expensive items, your mind naturally goes to probably jewelry, furs, fine art, maybe electronics. Musical instruments sometimes aren't included, but they very well should be. Ultimately, there are essentially two ways that you can provide coverage for the musical instruments that are in your home, right? You can have them endorsed onto your homeowners or renters policy. Under this scenario, the underwriter would literally list out the different instruments that you have within your home, the agreed upon value, or if it's replacement costs, and the perils that it's covered for, right? The more comprehensive way to cover those instruments is to have kind of a musical instrument floater, right? Whereby it has a list of coverages and it's a policy in and of itself, right? This is actually the policy that musicians use, right? They probably use commercial floaters because their instruments are their source of revenue, their business, so they use it for commercial purposes. Sorry, but this provides kind of coverage for their instruments as they quote unquote are floating, right? Instruments are easily transportable. These coverages are called floaters because they provide coverage while they're in transit. They don't have to be permanent in any one place. The musical instrument floater is very much like kind of your valuable jewelry floater, your fine arts floater. They're all in kind of the same family. Things to take note of is don't simply assume that you have coverage for your instruments under your current homeowners or renters policy. And the reason being is not only could it simply be excluded if you use that instrument to go play an event somewhere, but oftentimes there's kind of a per item limit on your policy, right? They could be very small. For instance, it could be $1,500 or $2,000. And then you add a deductible to that. Let's say you have $1,000 deductible, then you may only be getting a fraction of the value of your instruments, right? So at that point, it's not properly valued at all, because you've got a deductible that's $1,000 and then a per item limit that may be $1,500 or $2,000, whereas you may have a $5,000 guitar, right? So just things to take note if you want to rest easy and understand and know that your instruments are covered. Take out a floater. If you if you're not a musician and you simply kind of have clarinet lessons for your children, and then you may be able to simply endorse your policy and list that item specifically outside of kind of your normal business personal property coverage that's included in your policy. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next week.